I'm Major Blair, M-A-J-O-R-B-L-A-I-R.
And you're the mayor of Killeen, Texas.
That's correct.
What's your opinion about this America's Most Wanted deal?
Several weeks ago, the officials of America's Most Wanted called me that they were going to do a reenactment of the Luby's tragedy on October the 16th of last year, and my first immediate response was probably still the response I would have, which would be that these families of these victims and those who were in Luby's and people in general in town, I think really want to allow this memory to lapse and go on about their lifestyles. And I think a reenactment would refresh the memories of some that maybe doesn't need to be refreshed. My opinion of America's Most Wanted has been a program that had been very effective in tracking down wanted criminals. And there's no criminals wanted down here. He was taken care of by our very effective police department at the time of the tragedy and stopped the tragedy. But that's really my concern, is that these people have taken care of the wanted person, and we feel like it's probably going to revitalize some memories that doesn't need to be.
You think it's exploitive?
I have no idea, and I really haven't seen the taping of it at all. I can't see how the reenactment could be other than exploitive. I feel like they serve a very good purpose in their programming, but it's been a mystery to me as to why they wanted to do, why that particular type program wanted to do this here.
What kind of comments have you gotten? I understand your statements have been made public down here in Killeen. What have you heard about your opposition to the program, or your distaste for it, or however you want to describe it?
Well, really, my statements have been a reflection of the people in various locations where I visit daily, just in the course of doing business and seeing people around restaurants and coffee shops and in businesses, and they feel like that it's been talked enough, and it's been viewed enough. The media was extremely good in this area at the time of the tragedy and immediately thereafter. And we think all of the things were done as should have been done at the time to deal with such an overwhelming incident. And we really feel like that all of those things have been put to rest, and that the incident itself should be put to rest.
Do you think this just stirs up wounds that are trying to heal? Is that your major objection to the program?
I think it is, and I think that's what the people who I visited with have said about it, is we don't want to rethink and go back through this thing. We've been dealing with counselors and the right kind of people, and our lives are coming back together. We're going on down the road with the everyday things that you need to do in a positive way, and that they really feel like that they've made a great stride in this respect, and they don't want that to be hampered in some way.
Do you see any possible benefit to the show?
Well, the only way that I could see a benefit to it, and there again, I would have to view the filming of this, but as I think back on October the 16th last, I feel like that if there is a positive direction they can give to this type of reenactment, rather than a true reenactment of the tragedy itself, then the people may begin to see a side of it that would maybe some of the families of the victims could say that they had seen a positive view, a positive direction of it. But I can't visualize in my mind how this could be done in order to give them an advantageous direction rather than a disadvantageous.
Do you think the show might be just kind of using this tragedy for ratings purposes, because it is so different from what they normally do?
No, I really don't. I don't think they'd do something like this just for ratings. I think that maybe they are trying to pull something out of it that is maybe a little different from what any of us can view. We're not the incident like happened in California several years ago. We're a little different perspective. We don't intend to have a memorial at that site. There will be a memorial done in a very family-oriented park in this city, where a couple of other memorials currently are, and we feel like that's very, very necessary. and I'm working with that now on a day-to-day basis. But I'm at a loss as to their exact intent of the filming of this.
But you're suspicious of it? Is it? What word would you use in terms of not knowing what the program's about? What's your fear?
I have a certain mysterious area here that in my mind I'm afraid that maybe they will revitalize the thoughts of some of these people who were not directly affected by it to a degree that they become critical of the show's intent. And it has been viewed by a lot of people as a show that's been very helpful to law enforcement people across the country, and its track record shows that. And I would hate to see that damaged in some way.
So you think that by veering off their course of what worked for them, that maybe they're kind of losing sight of their mission?
That could be very easily, as I understand their mission, and maybe they have something in here that gives it a different expression, a different slant. But even with that, I can't envision what that might be at this particular time.
If you had to sum up your thoughts on the show, just to make sure we have it, what are they again?
Again, I feel like that it would be best if they had not done this. I feel like the people want to go on about their day-to-day life and as best they can forget it in their own way. And the public as a whole seems to be expressing to me these same views. Is the reason I express them to you as the mayor of the city of Killeen, because we deal with a lot of different requirements in this city, different from most cities on a day-to-day basis. And we just rather not deal with this anymore.
Is there anything else on this topic you think we ought to, that you want to tell us while we're here? That I'm not
For the benefit,
to ask you.
For the benefit of the producer and the people who deal in providing these type of shows, I truly hope that they have arrived at a reenactment that stresses the role that the law enforcement people had to play in resolving this incident, the role that the various agencies that deal with counseling with these families and that were directly connected to this. I hope they have addressed this in a very positive way to show more than a reenactment. I hope the reenactment term is not to show people in the positions they were after the tragedy. I think it's helpful that we can all realize that the advantages out of this is to show my people in this area, not just Killeen, but the surrounding area who are affected by it, that the authorities that are challenged to deal with these type massacres and type emergencies have responded in a way that has been most helpful to a positive resolution.
It sounds as though you're afraid that they might just kind of wallow in the bloodshed with this reenactment, that they might just kind of go step by step and show who was shot when, and you don't think that would serve a useful purpose. Is that your fear?
We in Texas are proud of our law enforcement people. We're proud of the agencies, the EMS people, and all of these civic organizations that dealt with this crisis. And we don't want anything tarnished about it, because we have answered all the needs and fulfilled all the requirements that have been identified by anyone throughout the entire process, and in a timely manner. And we don't want this tarnished in any way, because we have a good image and we want that image to continue.
But is that, am I wrong in saying that it sounds like you're just afraid that instead of whether they tarnish the police or not, that they just focus on the antics of the killer and kind of what went on in that cafeteria before the police arrived, and that would not serve a useful purpose in your mind? Or
there's a wide perimeter of possibilities out there, and I don't know what they have dealt in the way of the filming of this. And once it has been viewed to the public, then of course we'll all know. But until we do, I have that fear that they have had an opportunity to deal in an area that maybe is not going to be as responsive for the community as it should be.